In a recent interview with Rolling Stone, director Paul Thomas Anderson was asked about the state of American filmmaking and the criticism of superhero films. His response was this: that's such a bleeping crock of bleep. I can't remember a year in recent memory where there were less complaints about the quality of movies. And what's wrong with superhero movies, you know? I don't know. You're talking to someone that enjoys watching those films. People need to get a life if they're having that discussion. Laughing, he continued, those movies get a bad rap. Dennis, buy or sell Paul Thomas Anderson's statement?
Big buy from me, because you're talking about a director who is, considered more of an indie art house director that critics love. And he's talking about the big budget superhero movies. And he kind of has the same perspective I have. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if it's a superhero movie, a comedy, a drama, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's a big budget movie or an indie movie. All that really matters if it's a good movie. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, we talked to some people who love only, let's say, big budget superhero movies. They look at indie movies and they're like, oh, those are so boring, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in them. I don't care. And then you have people who only watch indie movies and art house movies, and then they're like, oh, those big budget movies, they're so terrible. And they're not terrible. Mm-hmm. If you understand filmmaking, you can see that it doesn't really matter. It's all about how good the movie is, and it can be good, big movie or small movie, it doesn't matter. Mary?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I wholeheartedly buy this because Paul Thomas Anderson is also one of the strongest voices of directors working today. He's got such a specific style, and he's such a strong, confident voice when it comes to how he tells stories. And you're right, he's sort of on the other side of the fence when it comes to the kind of content he directs. So it's really refreshing to see him say, there's enough room at the table for all of these films to exist, and there needs to be this kind of diversity. We need superhero films, just like we need art house films that go out on a limb and tell stories in different ways. And I love the fact that he recognizes that. And to me, it only emboldens his position in my mind as a true artist, because a true artist will never say, well, that's not art and this is. I think a true artist understands that there's many, many ways to skin a cat, and there's many ways to tell a story. And I think he's aware of that, and it's very refreshing.
Christian?
Oh, big buy for me too, because I'm kind of tired of the us versus them mentality. So it's like, well, I like these types of movies, so it's cool for me not to like those movies, and that could come from both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure, because and when you get a guy like Paul Thomas Anderson saying this, it's a good voice, because even like for me, I see over 200 plus movies a year. Okay, I love the smaller ones, I love the big ones, and for me, I can go and really enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I'll go bananas over Birdman. Some people went into Birdman going, see, it's the system, and then it's just this thing. There's no war. It's movie fans, and that's what Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's a conversation, not a war.
Yes, and that's what Paul Thomas Anderson is saying. You can enjoy both, and remember, that these big movies also help get these little movies made. Like a director who's doing a smaller movie, right, and then makes it. Look at a guy like Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon, who is able to do the Avengers, and then goes makes much ado about nothing, and then can go do all other smaller films. He's able to do this because of the success of these big budget movies. So they puts them out, and that is what people have to realize here. And I love his comments, because you're absolutely right. He is one of the biggest voices out there. Like, people will go and eat every word he says, and believing that he's legitimately into these movies it's cool. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it falls along the lines of, it's not like Marvel versus DC or digital versus film or, whatever, all that stuff. It's just comes down to the movie itself.
That's the point why we all do this. That's the point why all you guys are watching, because you're movie lovers in general. Yeah. It's not just, it's no battle. You're not cool for liking one thing
no, you like
and cool for hating another thing.
Yeah.
If you are a movie fan, what do you enjoy to watch? If you just don't feel embarrassed because you like to watch big blockbuster action movies, and then you also like to watch smaller films, or you just like to watch big action movies. It's your preference. It's your subjective. That's the whole point.
Right.
Subjective. It's so silly. You don't know. It's the whole top 10 list sometimes when you put in. I had Apes at my number 1. Okay. Did I say that was the best film of?
No,
it was my favorite. What I enjoyed to watch. And people are like, no, Boyhood's much better as a quality. Sure, but you can't tell people what their opinions are. And I think that that's what he kind of says too in these comments. I love it.
Yeah.
My dad used to say opinions are like you-know-whats. Everybody has one.
That's right.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Don't be a you-know-what.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.